Super. BS.
Tis the season to be gaming, fa la 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 la. Tis me, your lovable baby boy, seasonal greetings, Brank. And I'm here with my happy little helper.
Oh, that's me. I am Jolly Josh Jankerson the third.
Josh Jankerson. So you're not selling Jameson to kids anymore, huh?
No, I picked up a new career. During the holidays, I take on the role of a mall elf. So
A mall elf.
Nice. Right now, I'm selling jolliness and joy to all the children of the world.
Yeah, you're doing that, and you're rolling around with Paul Blart on his what are those things called that he's on?
I don't actually. A Segway.
Segway, yes. I know
but
everybody's favorite movie
minute,
of all
man,
time.
Let
Paul
me get
Blart.
while we're on this topic.
Paul Blart.
In the epic battle of soft pretzels, I just watched the episode of The Office last night where it was Pretzel Day.
That's a good day.
In your opinion, in the epic battle of soft pretzels, are you an Auntie Anne's fan or Wetzel's?
Oh man, I gotta get my sweet Wetzels on. What
okay.
are you?
I'm leaning more towards Wetzel's because they have more options and they seem cleaner, if that makes sense.
They got the sinfully cinnamon pretzels, okay? I need to get some cc's of that into my blood.
Get it.
Now, my old Disneyland tradition was to run over to Wetzel's, get me some sinfully cinnamon pretzel bites, and then nosh on those on my way over to the land of attractions. Well, anyways, you heard it here, folks. We're a podcast about pretzels and video games today. It's super BS, but we're gonna mainly talk about video games. I know it's weird. We're normally only on that pretzel bit. Like you come here for your pretzel advice, whether it's Auntie Anne's. It's a really strange podcast because there's not a whole lot to talk about each and every week. You try those pretzels again? Nothing
Pepperoni.
changes. Yeah, nothing changes in the pretzel world, okay? And we are going to change things hardcore here, okay? I've been, before we get to the gaming, I got to tell you about my workout regimen. It's been insane. I've been lifting like nonstop. I've been doing squats, okay? I've been Hans and Franzing. We want to pump you up, all you SNL 80s fans. That's what this podcast actually is. It's about SNL in the 80s, our favorite SNL sketches. Speaking of which, SNL in like pre-90s, I don't get it.
It's golden.
Golden?
Oh, not pre-90s. Oh, I mean like the days of like John Belushi and moving into the 90s where it had Adam Sandler and Rob Schneider. Like those were the golden years of SNL. Like lately, like the newer stuff, I can't get into it. It's too political and it's not funny.
What are you talking about, man? They made fun of Masterclass with Timothy Chalamet. Now, I'm totally there with you. I literally had a Thanksgiving conversation about my love, sarcasm, of Pete Davidson. Yeah, I agree, but I'm saying like through the Will Ferrell era, like for me, like SNL was great. Honestly, through the digital shorts, that was kind of when I fell off, is when the Lonely Island dudes, when Andy Samberg and everybody left.
Oh, yeah.
Like some of those digital shorts are still like the best. Obviously, they're D and a B, Three-Way, Mother's Day. I mean, some of their music, man, is just so good. Lonely Island guys, credible. Watch their Michael Bolton Love special on Valentine's Day. Whatever, I think it's Love, right? Michael Bolton Love. Did you watch that one? The Valentine's Day special they made?
Yeah. That
is very good. So how was the turkeys? You been choking them all week or what?
Just choking that.
That's what I do. I choke turkeys. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, just out in the kitchen, choking the turkey, out by the barbecue, choking the turkey.
Turkey. Everywhere you go, you're choking the turkey. And your family appreciates it, okay? They're just happy that you're out there choking the turkey. They're just like, man, there's my son, there's my husband, there's my father. Choking the turkey.
Choking the turkey. Oh, my gosh.
Not sexual at all. I actually mean you should be choking your turkey. That's
No,
how you kill it.
what did you mean?
I don't know.
I thought we were actually talking about like strangling turkeys.
I kill turkeys the humane way, choking them slowly. Okay,
that got weird.
That got weird. It did not.
No, it was good, man. I barbecued the turkey. I tried using the charcoal side of my barbecue for the first time, and I ended up like lighting the bottom of the turkey on fire. I didn't.
He was alive too.
Yeah, he was alive. Yeah, it was the noises from our yard that day. Yeah, he was screaming like a person.
Yeah, you got the weird turkey that had the person's voice,
yeah,
so it's extra weird.
No, but it was good, man. And, like I switched over to the gas side and then just slowly cooked it for like 4 hours. It was pretty good, man. Barbecue turkey, way to go. How's yours though?
Tell us about that broil process, okay? Everybody here wants to know exactly about the broil. Tell us about the brines you used, because that's what this podcast is all about, getting in depth on that sweet, sweet turkey making.
Actually.
Mine was good. I, like the rest of humanity, kept my eye out for the next-gen consoles. I did not camp out at GameStop for their 2 PS5s and up to 6 Xbox Series X's, because that number was just way too big. So I thought there'll be leftovers. So I'll go there on Friday for all 2 of the PS5s they had in store. Yeah, man, I tried multiple times. Tried on Wednesday when they went up at Walmart. That was a joke. I've seen it go up and down now like 3 times since. I've missed it every time. I have realized, like everybody else, that this is a doomed process. I don't think we're going to be getting next-gen consoles anytime soon. Unless you're in the UK, then they have tons of them. That's what I've heard. They're just overflowing.
And they're going missing, apparently, for the people who pre-ordered them.
What are you talking about, man? The UK has infinite Xboxes and PS5s. That's actually the main thing people like there. They're like, this is the land of PS5s and Xbox Series X's instead of milk and honey. They don't have any
sure
of that
that's exactly what they're saying.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah. I mean, it's on record. Look at the Prime Minister guy.
It's not
whatever
his
crumpet.
Name. It's tea and Xboxes.
Tea and Xboxes. Yeah. They have so many, they eat them. And they do it with their pinky finger, like you just showed. Yeah. So you're living that sweet next-gen life, the one that we're all wishing we were living. What are you playing on that bad boy?
So I did a little Black Friday shopping yesterday on the Xbox Marketplace. Downloaded Far Cry New Dawn. Haven't played it.
Number one Series X game.
Don't know if I ever will, but I mean, for $10, just figure I might as well. I played or I downloaded. What else did I get? I got Beyond Good and Evil, which you recommended to me.
$3.
Haven't
game's
played
great.
that one yet. There's a couple. They're still up there. I was gonna go check it out a little more. I didn't get time to scroll through because I got things to do, people to see, places to go.
Got none of those things to do.
I did play a lot of Assassin's. Not a lot. I'm like 4 or 5 hours into Assassin's Creed Valhalla
Pretty much
now.
You're at the end. It's a 6-hour game.
The end,
so
I've
almost done.
Getting close to the end. No, we actually just got to England.
Nice.
I just got off the dock. A bunch of people who weren't related to Ragnar Lothbrok's sons came over and just picked a fight with me, slaughtered all of them. Now I'm just trying to figure out, hey, what's the deal, man? Where's my fellow Vikings at? And
they don't exist. They're not in England.
One day, yeah.
You went to the wrong. You went to the wrong country. Okay,
they're
not
there. We made
a
wrong turn at India and ended up in Canada somehow. I don't know how that happened, but.
I would love it if the game was just you get to England, you realize there are no other Vikings there, and then you leave. Yeah. And that is how the game ends. Sure. Because you're just looking for your friends.
Yeah.
That's the whole story of Valhalla. So without getting too much into the story, because I don't want those sweet spoilers, how do you like the combat? That's the thing I've been the most interested in since it launched.
I've never played an Assassin's Creed game using heavy weapons. So right now I have a 2-handed axe, and one of the other one of the other people, Sigurd is his name, who you associate with over the course of the game. He's like your adopted brother. He has a giant longsword, so I'm just trying to see if I get to a part where I can use a longsword, because that'd be kind of cool. That's what I always used in the Final Fantasy online games. But
nice.
Yeah, no, the combat's it's pretty smooth, man. I mean, with a 2-handed weapon, it feels a little clunky.
Okay.
Just because you have to take wind up time, and it costs stamina. So between swinging the two-handed weapon and trying to dodge attacks. The dodge mechanic is really great in this game. Like it is immediate. Like in Odyssey and Origins, there was some trouble where it wouldn't always like register, especially if you're doing a bunch of other things at once. But this one, as soon as you press it, your guy moves out of the way, and it's a pretty wide berth. So I do.
That's what I'm all about. Those wide berths.
I do like that. I got the Assassin's Blade, and so that's been fun. I love doing the whistle thing. You call the enemies over, stab them in the bushes. It's a lot easier to kind of sneak around in this game. There's more places to hide. Everything is destructible in this game. Not everything, but I mean, you have to be careful with your flaming arrows because, like, I accidentally set an entire village on fire.
Which you meant to do.
Which I totally meant to do.
Those were the civilians. You meant to set their village on fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the combat's pretty good and you can dodge. Is it the same as Odyssey and Origins? Did they change it? It's the thing I know the least about, I feel like.
It's not. Okay, so here's my thoughts on the combat. It's not as fluid as Odyssey, but there's a lot more elements to it than Odyssey has. So, I mean, as far as like your specials go, you can equip 4 specials. They recharge a lot faster than they did in Odyssey. You can switch between your ranged combat and up-close combat a lot quicker, so there's not really a delay. You don't have to wait for the arrows to reload and stuff like that. So it's a lot faster. As for the main differences between Odyssey, they took what was great about Odyssey and then kind of improved on it. But that's me talking from the perspective of someone who's only used two-handed weapons. So I'm sure like once I get to the point where I have a sword, it'll feel a little more like Odyssey. Right now, I can tell you Odyssey felt a lot faster, but again, I'm using a heavy weapon, so it's hard for me to like say, yeah, it's just the same.
Yeah, why didn't you dual wield? That seemed like the neatest thing to me. But
yeah, you can. I have not gotten to any parts yet. Like I left not England, but I left Norway, and I forgot to go and stop at the blacksmith. I was going to do that, and then I was late, and I was just trying to get to a point where it would be a good point to stop. So I got on the boat, left Norway, then I ended up in the modern era, and you play again as Layla.
Okay.
And it turns out the Earth is in danger again. So like you saved it as Desmond.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's never in danger in these games.
3, you saved it as Desmond, and now there's something happening again. Like all the Aurora Borealis is happening in the sky, and you can go into Layla's computer and find out like what's been happening throughout this whole thing. It makes references to all the Assassin's Creed games, how they all connect. That's what I've always liked about that. Like even in Layla's like emails, you can see like how the game connects to the Watch Dogs universe, like how they make references to that. But anyways, like I'm digging it so far. Like it's got a lot of mystery and intrigue. Like it's the first time I'm actually interested in a story that takes place in both like modern setting and historical settings. So right now I'm thrilled about this game. There's a lot of things that they kind of have been alluding to that I'm curious how it's going to work out narrative wise, but I'm hoping throughout the course of this week I'll get to more of it. What have you been playing though? Tell me about it.
Before we get to that, did they fix quick resume yet? Have you got that to work or no?
No. I keep getting this box in the upper right hand corner of the screen saying quick resume is active, but it just it never happens. I always have to go back out to the loading screen. But again, it loads in less than a minute, so it's not really like a boon to the game.
No, I totally understand, but I mean, with quick resume, it's going to load in like, from what I've gathered, 6 to 8 seconds, 10 seconds.
Yeah,
top, so
that'd be really nice.
I'm wondering what's going on with quick resume in the Series X, because that's like the one thing that I guess they had it working when they gave out the preview build to all the early journalists and stuff, and now it's not working on some of the games. So yeah. I'm really confused to what the bug is that they had to shut it off in a lot of these games. But
yeah,
whatever. Hopefully they fix that soon. But yeah, I'm still over here living my old school Xbox One X lifestyle, which, honestly isn't that bad. And I picked up a game that I was itching to play, Yakuza, Like a Dragon.
Can we just take a moment? Everyone, listeners out there, let's take a minute. Branky here is actually going to go back during editing, and he's going to put in the part where he said he's not going to buy Yakuza Like a Dragon because it's going to be on sale soon.
December.
And then, and he's going to play that during this segment right here, just so you can all know that he said he wasn't going to buy it. So Brank has very weak self-control, is what we've learned on this episode.
No,
that'll
actually not.
be in the episode title, Brank's lack of self-control.
No, that's not it at all. And instead of that, I'm going to play that song. Oh, man, what's that girl's name? You know which one I'm talking about? Oh my goodness, Ariana Grande, Good as Hell, man. That's what I'm gonna play. It's good as hell, because that's what Yakuza Like a Dragon is. It is good as hell. Yeah, I have crazy self-control, okay? This is like the first time since last year I've broken down and paid full price for a game after it came out. The only other game I did that with was Borderlands 3. I regretted it almost instantly. I still have only played maybe like 5 hours of that game.
Okay.
But Yakuza Like a Dragon I've already played like 8 hours of, and it is awesome. I can't recommend it enough. I think my guess is it's totally worth $60. I haven't got very far, but I'm having a blast. It's a JRPG set in a very realistic world. It's a Yakuza game, which I've only played parts of 0 and like the demo for 6. I actually talked about the demo for 6 on the old Super BS podcast. And my issue with it then was like, you know, there's very, very, very long cutscenes. And I kind of came into this one knowing that, because since then I had picked up Judgment and played that, and there's lots of long cutscenes there too. And there's lots of periods where you just can't save, and that's the game. You know, that's what you do. You wait, you watch a video, and it's kind of like a really good TV show or a short film. But yeah, I dig it because they make things that are normal everyday things into kind of hilarious concepts. Like, you quickly, and I don't want to give too much away, but fairly quickly into the game, you end up becoming homeless. And it actually gives like a really real take on homelessness and how some people choose to be there, but there are a lot of people who did not get a choice. And so they'll talk about that. And then you're doing like a can collecting mini game to make money, where you're on a bike collecting cans, and there are other homeless people trying to collect cans, and you're racing them to cans. And so there's like funny things like that. And then like a lot of the games, because it's a Yakuza style game, you're like in brothels and stuff, helping like the people who own those places, right? And so you're on your way to a brothel. This happened to me recently. And this guy stops you.
We're talking about in the game, right? Not in real life?
Well, yeah, I was going to a brothel in real life.
We all know that you frequent brothels.
That's the main thing. Yeah, in California, it's legal now. It's actually it's an
that's
essential business.
That's the only place that's open, right? It's the only places open are the brothers.
It got essential status day one. They realized it was essential to humanity.
We need
that
this.
and the dispensaries. So especially the dispensary brothels, they got an ultra essential status where they get paid extra money to stay open by the government. Makes sense. I don't question it. Makes sense to me. Makes total sense to me. And they also have a no mask rule there, so you don't have to wear a mask. The government said if you wear a mask there, they're going to take you to prison. So I go in there all the time not wearing a mask.
Yeah, right.
But yes, in the game, okay, I'm going to a brothel, and you're going there to like get a job because you're homeless and you need to find work. So you go to like this, I don't know what the equivalent in Texas, but Apple One unemployment place, and you try to get a job, and they send you over to this place, and on the way there is a what are they called, the people who show themselves, like public indecency, what are they called? Flashers, yes. So there's a guy who flashes you. You end up going into like a fight with him, which the fight's really fun. I actually think the combat's way better than the brawler system from the old Yakuza games. And you beat him up, and then after he's like on the ground, a doctor comes up and he says, "Oh, I don't have the Sujimon data." And they have like a Pokemon style mini game where you go and beat up thugs around the city, and the more data you get on them, the more prizes you get. So it's
do you evolve? I mean,
you can't capture these humans in the city, but there's a lot to like in the game. I haven't really got to the job system yet. There's like a job system, I guess, that will open up later. But right now, my character just got a bat out of the ground, and he's the hero. And it's really funny because this is a game made by SaGa, but they licensed the name Dragon Quest from Square Enix, or at least asked for use of it, because the main character in this game loves Dragon Quest. Oh. And because the game takes place in Japan, that makes sense. They put Dragon Quest out on Saturdays because it's such a big deal. They don't want people skipping work or school for it. So it's really funny to think like that they use this thing and the character wants to be this hero. And another thing that I didn't get to mention that I absolutely love about this game as we're getting older is the characters are in their 40s. I feel like all the JRPGs, the characters are always like 15 or 16, and they're always like this try-hard kid who, you know, has got all this spirit and spunk, and the old guy is normally 25, and he's so old and grizzled, and you're like, man, he's going to die any minute. He's 25 years old. But yeah, my party right now is like a 42-year-old Ichiban, a 41-year-old homeless dude, and a 59-year-old ex-cop. And it's just, man, it's great. I really love a lot of just the character building. Running around the game is pretty fun too. If you are playing this, I suggest you shut off the mini map. It makes the game less fun, and you just open the normal map when you need to find out where you're going. But yeah, I think it's great. I honestly can't recommend it enough. I'm so happy I picked it up. It's definitely making my top 5.
What is the busty women situation in this game?
Busty women. You know what? So far, there have been no busty women because it's not actual like JRPG anime game. It's like the story is what I could imagine from like a slice of life anime. I don't watch a ton of those, but I would imagine it's like that story. But yeah, I mean, you go to brothels, but like since it's supposed to be really realistic people, you're not seeing people in their underwear. You're normally seeing people when they're getting off of work and they're leaving, the women, I should say. And so everybody's fully clothed, and there's no like ridiculous people. You know, there's nothing that's been like so, you know, insane. But yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. Like it's like for me, it's up like Ghost of Tsushima. Like, hey, play it, you'll have fun. Okay. And I know not everybody felt that way about Ghost of Tsushima, but like this, it's just, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Like,
I'm intrigued. You have me like, I didn't want anything to do with this game at first, but now I'm kind of interested.
I would definitely say, and the thing that makes it great for another like subset of people is, you know, the original Yakuza series had 6 main entries plus a 0. So there was 7 main entries and spinoffs. And so it was overwhelming. All of those games were like 60 to 80 hour long games. They all had this really, in my opinion, annoying brawling system where you had to get fairly good at the inputs. And it just, I played it. I didn't really enjoy it. So you had to do all that stuff to get to the story. And so you're talking about like, you know, 360, 420-ish hours of playing those games to get that full story. This one is essentially a clean break. People who have played all those series say there's like connected characters and stuff, but I haven't once been like, who's this guy? You know, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I have not had a moment of that. And I've only played like, I think 30 minutes of Yakuza 0 and the demo of Yakuza 6.
Okay.
So yeah, man, I cannot say anything but positive things right now. I mean, it's a game. It's got issues. It's got flaws, but like, I want to play it. Like, it's just, the story is so good. The writing's good. The voice acting, for the most part, is phenomenal. I would say it's over the top. You can play it in English or Japanese. They did the thing that Ghost of Tsushima should have done, and they had it lip-synced to both languages. So it's like I don't know if you tried Ghost of Tsushima in Japanese, but if you do, the lips were moving to the English audio. So like, it looked silly. Whereas like this, yeah, you switch the language, it's synced to either language.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and I think Ichiban had a great. So far, all the main characters have great voice actors. There's some side characters that I think are like not great. George Takai, I don't think does a great job in it as the main guy. Like, he's not bad. I don't know if I love though his take on like the head Yakuza leader, but yeah, it's definitely a game I wouldn't recommend for someone who wants to play like a short, fun burst game where you're like, oh, I'm gonna just do this thing, because most of the game is watching. So I would say 90% of the game is story.
All right. I mean, that's not a lot of games like that anymore. So I mean, that
no.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I am intrigued.
Yeah, man. I anything that you're curious about it that I could answer your questions so far. I still haven't even unlocked half of the systems, so even 8 hours.
How complicated is the gameplay? Like, is it something that has a lot of systems in it, or is it something that's like pretty easy? Just pick up the controller, start playing.
So yeah, it's crazy because the main game itself is extremely easy where I'm at. Like, it's probably the easiest JRPG I've ever played. I've never been close to dying. I find all the combat to be pretty fun. There is elements of Paper Mario in there, so you can like time your button hit and it will do a little bit more damage for certain attacks. But overall, it's like pretty simplistic JRPG combat. But the game itself has so many systems. Like I said, I'm at chapter 4 of I think 18. I've played about 8 hours, and I haven't even unlocked like there is some type of business management mode. There are multiple jobs. I'm still on the point of the game where I don't get to choose the job classes. Like, I'm just getting them as they come and the characters. It says Dragon Kart. I have no clue what that. So it sounds like there's some kart racing feature. You can go into the arcades in the city and play like Virtua Fighter, I think.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Virtua On.
I love that game.
They have a Asian version of chess called shogi, and you can play against ranked players in that and rise the ranks playing that. That can collecting mini game has also ranks to do, and it also seems like there is like side jobs you can work in the city to make some yen, because you're technically, at the point I'm at, you're homeless. I just got a place to sleep, but you're like a homeless dude, so you have no money.
Okay.
There's also gear and stuff like that. I haven't really gotten that far. I have like a handful of gear from one fight that gave you gear in the game. There's weapons. There's tag team attacks. There's specials. There's you name it, man. I mean, there's just so much. One of my characters summons pigeons. Just to give you an example of this game, like he is a homeless dude and he throws birdseed at enemies and the pigeons go and attack them. So it's really lighthearted and silly, but it's also like a really crazy cool, I don't know, in-depth look at Japan, I would say.
Okay.
Like a good example would be this, right? Like, prostitution isn't legal where we live, and it's not really legal in Japan. But there is a group, and they're kind of made out to be the bad guys, who want to get rid of prostitution in Japan. But what the game kind of points out is that, like, a lot of the people who are prostitutes have no other way of making money. Yeah. So they have had to turn to this life so they can take care of their parents or whoever else in their life so they don't die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of really interesting concepts and things that I find, like, really well done and well spoken and well written. And yeah, man, I'm singing its praises. I will see how far I get. Like, I don't know if I'm going to finish the whole thing just because it sounds like 80 hours is the minimum amount of time. Ooh. But yeah, as of right now, I mean, the only thing I can see taking me away from it would be Cyberpunk.
All right. What is the tower climbing situation in this game?
Tower, because Pokemon or what? What's the tower climbing reference to?
Can I climb towers and... like in your
like
typical JRPGs and other RPGs, can I climb towers and stuff? Is this?
I mean, the only dungeon I've done is you were in a sewer and there were like funny people living in the sewer and you fought them. But yeah, most of the game isn't really about the game. At least where I'm at, isn't about the gameplay. It's more about the story. Like, you could do a lot of stuff, but it's more like about enjoying this really, really well realized story about the crime families in Japan. And a character who's like a really do-gooder style person who's had like a hard life. And I love it because it is that all the old JRPG tropes from Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy done in a very, very true-to-life setting where you are like not killing people, you're beating them up. And in your character's mind, some of them look bigger or meaner because he's got a crazy imagination. So he's like,
all right.
Yeah, so it's cool. Yeah, I'm like blown away, man, because like I've tried. I liked Judgment, but Judgment had the brawler system, and it had like a lot of following. I don't know what to call them, like stealth sequences where you had to like watch someone do stuff, and that stuff to me just gets so old. But yeah, I have blabbered on about Yakuza probably for like 10 minutes. Is there anything else you played before we take it to this sweet, sweet, crazy news section?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it, man. Just been doing family stuff, playing Assassin's Creed,
Okay, that's how it be. We'll be back.
Super BS.
Now we are back, okay? And we are going to bring you all that news. Everybody knows Thanksgiving is synonymous with video game news. All the video game reporters don't take the days off. They just actually write news like they should every day and every night. And so old J. Jolly Jameson Joker Josh Jankerson is going to give us some of his highlights in what I like to call News Corner. Okay, Jokerson, go. That's your new name, Jokerson.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got confused here.
You're
right,
Jokerson. Give us our first news story of the day.
So this comes from IGN. All right,
okay.
I don't know how reliable they are. It's a very small news source nobody has ever heard of before.
Infowars.
This
comes from Infowars.net.
Like the Alex Jones of video game. No. So according to this article they released, there is a lot of PS5s, I guess, went missing in the UK, and people were getting boxes that they thought were their PS5 pre-orders, but instead they had air fryers and cat food and all kinds of other things in the box. So somewhere in transit, somebody was taking PS5s out and replacing them with other things. So I'm curious if that is something that happened in Amazon's warehouse, or if it was something that happened en route through shipping, whether it was through whoever the postal service or UPS. Like I'm curious how something like that would happen, because it feels like anyone trying to get a PS5 has just had horrendous luck doing so.
Are you sure that these people didn't order those things and now they're trying to get a free PS5? Amazon is one of the most gracious, great companies on earth, okay? They just announced today that they're going to give their warehouse workers up to $300 as a bonus this holiday. For a company that only makes $1,000 a year, that's a lot of money, okay? They're giving each of their employees $300, man. That's insane. Can you believe that? I mean, their owner only made $25 billion last week. So, I mean, $300, that's like, I mean, they might as well have won the lottery. So Amazon's a great company. That's the thing I'm here to say on this podcast right here, right now. And if you talk bad about them, then get out of here. Get out of here. We don't want to hear it. We love them. No, I'm curious if it is Amazon's fault or if it's just people opening those boxes and stuffing rice cookers inside of them. I mean, the PlayStation 5 is notoriously heavy. I've heard people equate it to like 40 pounds. So
from what I understand, like you can still put a disc in an air fryer. I mean, it does
work.
The same thing. Yeah,
does the exact same thing. I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla off an air fryer, and it was not good.
60 frames, man. 60 frames.
Yeah, it's all in your mind, okay? You just mind play that game. I don't know, man. I feel bad for the UK. They're also under like one of the craziest lockdowns I think I've seen. Well, no, there's been crazier lockdowns, but they are in a crazy lockdown. So, yeah, I mean, they're the best of both worlds. Crazy lockdown, no new consoles. They're getting air fryers.
Yeah, it's all
they're
good.
getting $20 items that they paid $550 for. Amazon is saying no refunds for no returns. No, I'm just joking. I don't know if they're that bad. I have read things though where Amazon's just saying like things are getting lost and they're just refunding people. They're not even trying to give them the item.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean that as far as like Amazon in America, like right, a lot of people have been ordering Xboxes and just not getting them. There's no word on when they're coming in.
Yeah, I don't know what to think, man. Like I used to. So I'm one of those people who saw Amazon as like what it was back in the day. Like, hey, incredible prices. What they're trying to do is get a full share of the market and then they will do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I think we have hit that road this year, maybe even a couple years ago. And just the way they're treating people now, I think I am totally vindicated in saying that so many years ago because, I've some people have posted the replies that Amazon has given them. And from the old super friendly customer service approach that they used to have where they used to give people free items if they were shipped the wrong item to now where it's like, we might refund you, but you're not going to get your item anymore. Or like, we might replace it. It's like, okay, you sold an item you did not have, and now you're not going to give it to people. And now you're making it difficult for them to get refunds. Like, and even then, like, a lot of these people don't want refunds. They want the item. You sold them the item. You can't just be like, oh, sorry, we don't have them anymore. It's like, you're Amazon. Contact Microsoft. You could probably get them made. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like I get that these companies, Walmart, Amazon, whatever, they don't make a huge profit off of these consoles, but treating people the way they've been doing, which like no anti-bot stuff put in place. Just kind of like letting people, like, I was saying this the other day. I think it was just you on the phone, and I said on Twitter, which I never tweet, but I just had to because it's so frustrating. I have like 250 megabyte per second internet. I know it's not the fastest, but it's still pretty darn fast. Yeah. And I'm hardwired in, and I was on there like before the time clicked, and I was kept refreshing, and I couldn't even get the add to cart button to work on Walmart. So it's like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like It's crazy. This is like the craziest launch ever, and it's sad. I mean, honestly, it is sad. Like, it's the first one I'll ever miss out on.
It is. So here's our official Super BS advice. If you're in the market for an Xbox or PlayStation,
kill yourself.
Order an air fryer. Order an air fryer from Amazon, and then
you might get a PS5.
Yeah, and then just call them and say it was supposed to be. Yeah, you might get a PS5. There we go.
Pro tip, okay? They accidentally put all the PS5s in air fryer boxes and vice versa. So a lot of lucky air fryer owners right now. Yeah, man. Pro tip is, I don't know, give up. I don't want to say give up, but it's going to be one of those things where a lot of us are just going to have to wait, because I think these scalpers, I don't think they're going to hold prices after the holidays. I think really what we're going to see is January.
Not, man. Like, I hope that they get ripped off the same way they ripped everybody else off.
Well, here's what we're going to find out, man. If they don't return them by January 14th, and they're not like the hottest topic item, then they're going to lose all their money, because January 14th is the last day of free returns for almost half of these stores.
Yeah.
So we're either going to see swaths and swaths of these consoles everywhere you look, or, you know, they're going to stay popular and they're going to be selling for $800 for quite a bit of time. The Switch was able to do it, so maybe these two will, but I just don't see PS5s with the problems that they have, and Xbox Series X's with the fact that there's really no Xbox Series X exclusive games being able to hold $800 to $1,500 price points for multiple months. So, and I think the people who got like 13,000 of these, or whatever the number was, I know it was silly, like, they're going to not want to risk that much money. You know, I mean, think about that. That's what, 3,000. Oh man, that's like 15. No, that's $150,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive that's $150,000 is what they're risking.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that they get ripped off. I know that sounds harsh, but like they created this system. They created this system where nobody can get the things they want for the holidays. Nobody can get these PlayStation 5s, and I hope that, Sony does make more of these consoles, and then that way these people selling for $800 have to sell them for below MSRP in order to make anything off of them.
Yeah, so I just did the math, and after finishing Calculus 2, I realized I'm really good at math. That's $1,500,000 that a lot of these companies have invested. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're all hoping to get like $3 million out of this, like a double, probably not that much, but close to it. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, I'm like torn, because I get it. We're in a hard time where a lot of people need to make money, but these large scalping companies aren't there. You know what I mean? Like, nobody needs $3 million to stay afloat for the year. Yeah. If they do, then they really need to figure out their life. If they're like lost their job and they now need $3 million to live.
I'm curious. I mean, again, I'm curious if these circumstances were created by COVID or just like pure greed, because we've seen people. We know somebody who does that with games on Black Friday, right? They'll go out and buy a bunch of stuff, and then they'll resell it for a lot more than they paid for it. So
you're talking about LV? Does he still do that?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How does he get away? I mean, how does he get away with, not like it's a bad thing, but like, who is buying from that person? He's
very good at what he does, man. I mean,
I guess I would just buy it online myself. Like, a lot of these things aren't that scarce, especially
I
mean,
I think a lot of the people he sells to are parents, though, like parents who just don't, they're doing last minute shopping or whatever it might be,
and they probably don't know anything that's going on. So if he bought the item for $20 and it's selling even for $50, they could probably sell it for $40 and make a profit. But for me, that's a lot of work for not a lot of profit unless you're selling bulk. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's worth going to these stores to try to make $20 if there's, I was at a mall yesterday and it's pretty packed. It's not like crazy like it was in the past, but still a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Not a very fun thing. Speaking of fun things, though, because that's what we're all about here, as you can tell from all of our previous stuff. We only like fun. We hate unfun things. So we love Square Enix because they're the funnest group ever. And they just announced that they are launching a remaster of SaGa Frontier on Switch in summer 2021. Do you know what game that is?
I mean, I have seen people play it. I've seen pictures. I've never played it myself, but I love how they keep digging back into their like old catalog of games and bringing things to a new generation. Do you think that this is worth the remaster though?
I played a little bit of it back in the day. Oh, it's also coming to PS4 and phones and computers, it looks like. The site I was reading from just made it sound like it's coming to Switch. I played a little bit of it back in the day. I remember it being like very difficult to parse. Like I didn't really know what was going on. Like a lot of the gameplay rules were archaic. Yeah. It looked really cool because you chose whatever character, I want to say out of 8 different choices. If I'm reading, 8 characters, and you can like take them on their story. I think the stories all line up. I'm not exactly sure. It's neat. I wish Square Enix would take a little bit more love, like tender loving care to these games, like because it definitely seems like they're kind of rushing these out. And the art style for SaGa Frontier, it was coming from PS1, so the art style wasn't amazing back then, but it definitely has hints of that Final Fantasy VI mobile port, which I didn't like.
Okay.
And I don't know, man. We'll see if it's good. Really, I have a feeling they're going to overprice it again. I think we talked about that last episode. They just love releasing stuff at a price point that's like serious. I paid like $10 for this back in the day, and you're trying to sell for $30 to $40 for a remaster. But if they sell for like $20 and there's nothing out when it comes out, like I might give it a shot. I remember thinking it was cool back in the day.
Yeah. Have you noticed that you can go to GameStop or Best Buy or whatever and find the physical Switch version of Final Fantasy 7 and 8, and they're charging $60 for it. So it's like that's one of those things where like they're banking purely on nostalgia and collectors to justify that price. And if they don't drop within the first like 3 months of being out, then obviously that strategy's working.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. I'm sure they go on sale all the time and we just don't look, but it's the thing where it's like I think that Square Enix's like motto and MMO right now.
MMO.
No, their main objective is to sell the game at a high price, put it on sale. You know what I mean? Because then you're going to look good and people are going to buy stuff on sale. All of the Square Enix games I feel like are on sale now. But the big thing for me is like that hype when they release, because it's so overpriced, I don't fall for it, and then I just don't end up playing it. I don't. The next time it's on sale, it's like, well, right now I've got Yakuza, so I'm not like thinking about what other games I can get. And the Xbox sale, in my opinion, wasn't great. I mean, if you don't have Watch Dogs, do you have Watch Dogs?
No, I don't have Legion yet. I know it's $30, right?
Yeah. Oh no, it's more than that. It's like I want to say on digital, it's like maybe 42, but it's still like $22, or maybe it's 36. I know physical was 36. But stuff like that, if I wouldn't have picked that up, at launch, which that's a game I regret paying for full price, but I got it close to launch, so that's kind of the way I normally do things. If I get close to launch, I pay full price. Otherwise, I wait for a sale. But yeah, that's something that looked okay. But otherwise, if you look at those sales, it's like Crash 4 looks cool, but for $40, like that's gonna be like a $20 to $30 game soon.
Not $40 cool.
Yeah, Tony Hawk's great. Yeah, if you haven't picked that up, but I picked it up already. So it's like, I think it's 30 now, and that game's amazing.
Do you think that with Avengers going on sale, do you think that helped break that? What was that? It was like a
$67 million loss?
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, that big loss they're suffering from.
I think if they would have put Avengers on sale like in 2 weeks, I think they would have done it. For me, like it's already too late. It was one of those things where I played the demo. I actually liked it quite a bit. And I was like, oh, there's not really anything out. Maybe I should get it. But I'm like, $60. What if I don't like it?
From what I understand, like it was a lot of people bought it for the promised multiplayer aspect that just never delivered.
Well, the multiplayer's there. It's just not good.
Yeah,
So, and they're not adding content. It's supposed to be a live service game, and they will add content, but the content is coming so slow. It's like a drip feed, and they have to work out all the bugs, and the next gen launches aren't coming till way later than expected. And I mean, that game is like a plethora of issues. I mean, you look at it and you're just like, what were they thinking? I mean, it's probably Square Enix and, Disney probably doesn't care. Square Enix being like, well, hey, everybody likes Avengers, so we'll make a lot of money. And we have a year where there's like no Marvel movies that came out, not due to their fault. But it's like, okay, so maybe a lot of people just don't care. And the people who are like crazy Avengers fans, they bought it. But how many of them are there? How many people are there like, I got to get this? There's the Greg Millers of the world that talk about it like it's great. But he also loved Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which I talked about on Super BS. Didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it was not good. It wasn't bad. It's just like less fun than Diablo isometric beat 'em up with some RPG elements. Yeah. So it's like, there's games for those people out there. They're not for me. Before we get out of the news and to our games of December, did you have anything else that you wanted to talk to the people about?
No, not that I know of. Was there something I named before the show that I don't remember?
We were talking about, oh my goodness, we almost missed it. Sorry, folks. I know all of you were screaming at us in the chat, which, we're looking at the chat right now. It's thousands.
It's blown up right now.
It's nonstop. I mean, they're yelling at us. They're like, don't forget that story. You can't forget that story. It's the best story ever. Okay, here's an interesting one. PS5 users are being banned after selling the PS Plus collection that you get when you paid for PS Plus and own a PS5 to PS4 users. Now, the PS Plus collection, real quick, it has like, I can't remember how many games, but more than 20 like very popular games, and I just want to go over those games real quick. Some of them, Days Gone, The Last of Us Remastered, I want to say maybe not Spider-Man, God of War. So no Spider-Man, God of War, Ratchet & Clank, Resident Evil 7, Uncharted 4, Until Dawn, Persona 5, The Last Guardian, Monster Hunter World, Infamous Second Son, Final Fantasy 15, Fallout 4, Detroit Become Human, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Bloodborne, Battlefield 1, Batman Arkham Knight. There's probably something I missed. But anyways, it's got all those games. And you get it if you have PS Plus and you own a PS5.
Okay. Do these games they just stay on there? You don't have to sign in to have access to them?
You have to be a PS Plus subscribed member to have access to them. But PlayStation has a similar thing to Xbox, which is game sharing. So you can have up to 2 accounts that share all the digital purchases. Oh. And this includes PS Plus games. So if I have PS Plus and a PS5 and you have PS Plus and a PS4 and we're friends, I can share that account with you. I can only share it with you. I can share it with one other person. So what people are doing, they're smart, is they realize I can sell this account. I don't know what they're selling it for. Probably not too much because a lot of these games are pretty cheap. But you probably make $40, $50 off it. And they're selling that account. And now those people get to play all of those games on their PS4. They don't need a PS5 to play those games. So, just one person has to have the PS5 to access it. So, I get it. I'm torn. I think if Sony's going to allow people to game share, I don't know if they should not be allowed to sell the right to share with someone else. It's a weird thing because it is their service. It's totally in their, ability to do whatever they want. Yeah. But the same thing, it's I don't know. Does it really gain them that much by banning these people? There's probably only so many people willing to do it. Right. And they're not really losing that much money on games that have been free or $5 in the past. So, whatever, man. It's just a Sony thing. I don't really know what to say. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, if they paid for it, they paid for the membership and all that stuff, they should be able to do what they want with it. But I also understand that there could be some copyright issues there because, as far as you're not supposed to buy a movie and then charge money for people to come over and watch it, right? I don't know. It seems like a very gray area to me, but at the same time, if they really didn't want people doing this, they would find a way to make it not doable.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I don't really even see the harm in somebody buying a movie and letting other people pay them to come over. That's going to be people's choice anyways, you know what I mean? If you were my friend and because you're not, but if imagine your scenario, you were my friend. Now, if people were coming over and I wouldn't do this, but I'm sure I'd know people would do this who would be like, hey, can you pitch in oh, we'll each pay $3 to buy the movie. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like, oh, the person who invites us is the only person who gets to own it.
Right.
But what's the harm in like if that's your relationship with your friends? It's like those HBO fight nights, right? Like you pay $150 pay-per-view whatever for those things.
Yeah.
And if you invite 10 people over and everybody contributes $15, what does it matter? You know, what does HBO care if everybody split the cost? You know,
right.
I get when they go after like Buffalo Wild Wings and other places for selling, you know, for having people in to then watch this fight that they paid money for. I kind of understand that. I think the amounts they charge, which I've heard have been the tens of thousands, is ridiculous. That's why a lot of those places have like minimum drink, minimum food order numbers so they can recoup the loss on the fight.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to sell a thing, it's weird to think that you also get to make the rules for how the thing is used, you know?
Right. Like, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a gray area, you know, and I see it being the same thing with like what
pornography.
Right. No, I mean right, Nintendo's going after people who do ROMs now, right? Like I
they were doing that a couple years ago.
Yeah, but I mean I kind of like see that being the same thing. Like if you really didn't want people getting a hold of these, like you would go to the source and stop it there instead of like going after people for utilizing a service.
That's what they were doing. They were going after like the source, the people who had the sites that they held up. Like I don't think they were going after individual ROM owners. It wasn't as bad as I don't know if you remember back in the day Napster. They used to go after
I remember
the
those.
Mom who downloaded 7 songs. They would like try to sue her, or
those
kids did.
Kids that downloaded the Britney Spears album.
It's crazy, man. Like that stuff to me blew my mind, where it's like, okay, you didn't even go after the uploaders. You went after like the downloaders, you know, like whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm weirded out on that thing. That's DRM, man. That's digital rights management. Like we don't own any of this content. I bought Yakuza, but like I don't technically own it. If Microsoft ever pulls it down, like I lose it. And you could say, oh, that's why I buy discs or blah, 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 blah. But if you're buying a disc for a game like Destiny 2, you also don't own it because that's running on a server. And if that server ever gets pulled down, you have nothing. Your disc is useless.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like people trying to resell computer games. You need the product key, and once that's registered, you can't use it ever again. So, I mean,
it's weird, man. The whole thing is weird. The future of owning things is strange. But that's not what we're here to talk about, okay? We're not here to talk about the strange. We're here to talk about the cool. That's everybody knows that's our catch line. Our catchphrase. We're not here to talk about the strange. We're here to talk about the cool and choking Turks. Let's get to these gamies of December. This is gonna be our topic for the day. Okay, everybody knows I love it. When we start a new month or get close to it, we gotta talk about the games coming out that month and what we think about them. So let's kick it off hardcore. First game coming out December 1st. PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, Stadia. None of the new next gen stuff. Chronos, Before the Ashes. Do you know what that is?
I do not. What is it?
So it was originally a VR game. I think it came out to Oculus, it looks like 2016. It was like an action RPG. Looked really neat.
Okay.
I am hoping it's good. I have it actually on my wish list on Xbox. I don't think I'm going to be picking it up day one because I'm going to be all in that Yakuza game. Yeah. But yeah, it's neat. I'm glad it's coming. Like, we'll see how it transitions because, like, it is a game that was originally made for VR. So, like, we'll see if it goes well into, like, just third-person style game. Empire of Sin, December 1st, coming to PC, Mac, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Another
this seems like a
series
like L.A. Noire type thing, right? Like it seems very like gangsterish.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about it. I know it's made by I want to say John Romero and his wife. And their company, but it sounds like it's kind of like a Wasteland 3, which I talked about earlier this year, and I really enjoyed lots of that game. But it's like an XCOM style turn-based game, but also an RPG. Okay. So, I'm gonna look at it, and I'll probably maybe, if it's good, pick it up on sale. But it's definitely not. I don't know. 1920s doesn't interest me very much. Like I almost got the Mafia remake that happened this year because it looked like it was, really well made. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just not a time period that I'm like super interested in. So yeah, the Prohibition era. I'm going to skip some of these games because I don't even know what they are. Like this one, maybe you know what it is. Twin Mirror, Lost on Arrival. Oh my goodness, that's like the worst title. Sorry, whoever made this. It's coming to December 1st to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It looks like Don't Nod, the group that made Tell Me Why. I guess this is another one of their games. Oh. So whatever. I never play those games, so yeah. But that's surprising. I didn't even know they're making something else. This is a game series I used to love. Did you ever play the Worms series?
No, I did not. Is
Those
that
games
on like
are
Sega
so
or Nintendo?
great.
What are we talking
It
here?
was on Dreamcast, N64,
Okay.
PlayStation 1. It's been on Xbox. I mean, they have it on like every console now. Anyways, this one is not coming to every console, but it's Worms Rumble. It's coming December 1st to PC, PS4, and PS5. It's also a PS Plus game for PS5 owners. It's like a 2D. Did you ever play that game Tanks? Like
yes.
Old school computer game. It's that.
Yeah,
but you have more guns and you can move around. You can jump. I really dig it. I can't say good enough things about it. If you've got like friends over to play, it's a really fun like party game. There's some indie stuff like Haven and El Hijo, which comes out December 3rd. I don't know anything about either of those. Immortals Phoenix Rising comes out December 3rd to PC, PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X, Switch, and Stadia. Have you decided if you're getting this day one or what's your feeling on this one?
I am probably going to wait because, between Assassin's Creed and Cyberpunk, I don't know if I'll have time to play it. It's probably something that I will pick up maybe next year sometime. Definitely want to play it, but I mean, I just don't know if it's something I got time to do right now.
Yeah, man, it's kind of a bummer in some ways because it looks really fun. But the problem is, and I don't think it's really their fault, that Cyberpunk got moved to the week after them instead of like 3 weeks before them.
Yeah.
But between that and the fact that a bunch of big games just launched, it's really hard to be like, oh man, that's my day one purchase is Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, well, it's weird because that's Ubisoft did that, right?
Yeah.
That's
they
weird that
just
they would...
released Valhalla
and that's what I was
Legion.
Gonna say. A lot of people probably won't finish Valhalla till January at the earliest, so I mean...
Yeah, it reminds me of that year where Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, and Call of Duty, what is it? Not Never Ending War, the space one, Infinite Warfare. Launched. It feels like, Titanfall 2 got sent out to get massacred. And this is slightly different because it's not in between two juggernauts, but it's after them. So it's like, okay, if people were interested in Watch Dogs, they probably picked up that. If you were interested in Valhalla, which is the majority, they probably picked up that. Yeah. 3 weeks later, I don't really know who the new IP is for when, they could have probably released it in February, which is where Far Cry 6 was going to be, and maybe had a better shot of people being like, hey, February's slow, let's pick this up.
Because it's still like a very unknown game to a lot of people. So I feel like they really want to push it out for those holiday profits, but I don't think that's going to work so well for them. I don't see it being something big,
Yeah, if Cyberpunk wasn't launching the week after them, I could see it having a better shot. But I don't know who this is actually for. It looks really fun, and I'm hoping it's good, because I love Breath of the Wild, but I don't know. I really don't know who's like the target audience for it. But, maybe it's me, and they put out too much stuff so far. Then there's a game, Morbid 7 Acolytes, which looks like a isometric Dark Souls indie game coming out to PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. Weird game called Pogs or Fogs. It looks like... Do you ever watch that show Cat Dog?
Yes.
On Nickelodeon?
Yes,
looks like Cat Dog.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it. It's coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. Stadia, also December 3rd. Weird game called Crumble, coming to December 4th, only PC. Call of the Sea. This is a Games Pass game. It's coming December 8th to PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. It is a first-person adventure game, and honestly, it looks really neat. So I'm excited to try that out. It's on Games Pass right now. I saw some of the pictures. I'm hoping it's good because it looks just really cool. So it's something where it's like, I'll turn it on. It's part of Series X, or it's part of Games Pass. And you might want to try it because it's a Series X game. Nice. Monsters Sanctuary, which comes out December 8th for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. It's kind of like a weird mix of Metroidvania and Pokemon. You collect monsters and you evolve them and battle them. It looks neat, man, and you use those monsters like cross gaps if they've got wings and stuff. It looks like it could be really cool, but it's a 2D game. We'll see how it is. Comes out December 8th. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 comes out December 8th for pretty much everything. They don't say Switch here, but I'm pretty positive it comes out on Switch as well. So it's both next gen, previous gen, and Switch. Did you ever play Puyo Puyo Tetris?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah. I like that game. I didn't buy it. I don't think I'll buy this either, but those are fun games. You have a lot of people to play with. I think it's like a really fun game just to have around because it's just always fun. Tetris and Boy are always good.
Fun to have when people are over.
Yeah, and
those games.
It's good to own. Cyberpunk 2077. That's my my quality statement. Quality seal is good to own. Good to own game. Cyberpunk 2077, December 10th, PC, PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Stadia. And that PS5 and Xbox Series X, a little misleading. It obviously runs on those consoles with slight backwards compatibility upgrades, but the next-gen versions of it don't come out till next year. Okay. So it's really the previous gen, Xbox One and PS4, but they've made it so it'll run slightly better on the next gen, which is not very surprising. Most games do. That is my game that I've been looking forward to the most this year, man. I am like trying to figure out my top 5. We'll probably try to do that mid-December, like maybe a game of the year thing. Hopefully we can bring some friends on. That'd be fun. I love love those. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Cyberpunk could upset everything because right now I've kind of got some ideas what I loved this year and what like kind of meant the most to me. Yeah. And Cyberpunk seems like it could throw everything out of whack. Are you getting it day one?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I just I don't have a lot of time during the week to play games.
What are you talking about, man? You're a homeless person living out on the streets, but you have an Xbox Series X. You're homeless, so all you can do is play Xbox Series X outside.
I don't even own a television.
Yeah, I don't know how you play it, but you somehow play it on the outside on the wall.
Yeah.
This one's weird. I think this is the VR game. Yeah, it is. Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, December 10th, PC. It's that VR Medal of Honor game they've been making.
I heard about that.
I think it's actually made by the dudes who make Apex. I want to say it's the Respawn team, but I'm not sure. Could be cool. Whatever. There's like a Moto X game coming out December 16th, my birthday. That I have no interest in, but it's my birthday, so I love it. Override 2.
Wait, when's your birthday?
December 16th. Override 2, Super Mech League, December 22nd. PC, PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch. No clue what that is. There's giant robots. For all I know, this is an open beta because that's the trailer. Who knows what that thing is? And then this is weird. This looks like it could actually be really funny. December 30th, a game called Garlic comes out to PC, and it looks like you are a ninja garlic with a human body. You are a head of garlic and a human body.
Parappa the character from like Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not something I'm going to play. Oh, it's a 2D game. The concept art was really neat and silly. But yeah, it looks like it's a Super Meat Boy, but it's monochrome, so just black and white. Oh, and it looks like there's some color levels and stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, December's a pretty weak month, like always. I'm actually surprised we're even getting 2 AAA titles with Cyberpunk and Immortals. But you'll there's some indies worth like keeping an eye out. Empire of Sin, seeing if it's any good. Chronos, obviously Morbid, 7 Acolytes, Monster Sanctuary, Call of the Sea. So we'll see. Yeah. It could be a great month for gaming. I'm hoping Cyberpunk is awesome. Otherwise, like if Cyberpunk and Immortals are both great, excellent.
Yeah, hopefully.
Next week we actually have some plans. We're going to do a prediction show for the Game Awards, because that will be the day after next week's episode airs, so that will be fun. And we're gonna put a wager on this. Okay, so join us as we wager our whole earnings, our whole life savings and earnings on this
yearly salary. Yep.
Josh Jokerson is he's wagering his house. Actually, which is funny, versus my guitar. So it's really weird wager. I told him, hey, if you win, you get my guitar. And he said, if I win, I get his house. And I was like, great. Okay. I mean, that's fair to me.
Seems fair,
yeah, seems fair. Everybody loves it. Keep safe. Go outside. Kiss some people. Do the norm. Everybody knows that we love that. Anything else you want to add?
That's it, man. I mean, we're looking forward to the game show predictions and our game of the year, man. I'm really excited about that.
I know. That'll be fun. I'm hoping we can get like Dr. Donner or somebody on it with us, just get some other voices, because we've been talking to them off air, and they've played some of the stuff this year, so I think they'll have some interesting thoughts. But Yeah, I love just going over what we loved this year, and that will probably be most of that show whenever we get to it. Till next time, live life to the fullest. Hardcore, don't stop, won't stop, can't stop, and I'm going to give you some more slogans. Just keep going that life. And then I got to remember to put good as hell nonstop in this whole entire thing so we get it taken down off of the podcast services around the globe.
There we go.
Peace.
Late.
Oh, yeah.